Yo, 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 this is DJ Evo and your boy Mac the Riddler.
Yo.
And welcome to Off the Top. Today, man, we got a couple of things we're going to hit y'all with. A couple of them are serious. And a couple of them are kind of funny in a way. But at the same time, they are serious. So let's just get into it, man. The first topic that we're going to be speaking on is going to be mental health and how it affects brain activity and causes suicidal thoughts. Before we get into this topic, I'm just going to hit y'all with a couple of the facts that I did pick up when I got some research. So suicide rate in America has increased 28% in the last 30 years. Basically, since 1998, the suicide rate has increased at least 28%, so leading to 30%. Also, with that, you have 1.1 million deaths that happened just last year in 2019. And an estimated 1.5 to 1.8 million deaths by suicide that are expected to be happening leading into 2020. So the year hasn't even been going on a good 5 months yet, and they already have an estimated rate increase for the suicide rate for this year, which is not a good thing at all. Then you have 47% of basically the whole population in America saying that they have experienced one time or multiple times they have experienced some type of mental trauma or an event that caused mental trauma in their life. But with that same number, reflecting off of that, only 25% of that 47% people seek counseling or receive counseling to help treat their mental trauma that they experience. So today, I'm going to direct a couple questions at Matt and see how he feels about this. First of all, Matt, how do you think that we can change this? Because obviously we are at a deficit with even if it was just one life that we lost every year, we would still be at a deficit in this community because that could be the next president, next priest, next anything. The expectations and what they could do is limitless. So, what do you think that we could do to help this number first and foremost?
Okay. One thing that I could think of that might be able to help is just people being more open and more forthcoming on one point, and on the other side, more open to receiving people and those times of need. Because like it could be just simply talking, and not even about what actually is causing them to feel it, but just talking it out, just talking to somebody, period, just the act of talking.
Right, actual human activity.
And like that will be enough to soothe somebody.
Right.
So I say that's one step. And like people use outlets like as far as Facebook and all those social medias, don't take those lightly all the time. Like I know some people like to cry wolf and stuff like that, but
right.
I mean, you can see key points of like when somebody's going through something or depressed.
That is true. Especially on social media outlets, you can definitely see when people are crying for help. Like as I look back on some of the family members, or friends, or loved ones that I've lost over the years, I think about. The only thing I always try to think about is their last moments, and which most people do when they do lose somebody. They think they want to experience or at least know what they was going through. Was they suffering? You know what I'm saying? Was they feeling like the death was coming? Did they know it? Did they expect it? Did something that happened out of the blue? Is their heart and their soul gonna be able to rest? So definitely pay attention going into the future. Now that you receive this information and know that these numbers are so high, because I never knew beforehand that it was 50%, basically half of, and there's a lot of people in America, y'all. So half is like about at least 200 million. I was about to say dollars. 200 million people.
And then didn't you say they predicted?
Right, they estimated. So it could be more than that.
So look, food for thought though. All right. If they could predict it, and I know it's just probably numbers that they crunching down, but if they could predict something, don't you mean that I mean, isn't it safe to say that they know what is the cause on
Right.
on some shit?
Right.
Since they predicting. Now, and like I said, it might just be a number thing that they doing, and they could crunch the numbers and they could just predict. But how can you don't know if you don't know the cause of it? How can you predict?
You basing your numbers?
What you basing your numbers off of? Cause
well, man, that might be we might have to dive into that and get some information on that. But y'all can expect to hear a little more follow up on that because I like that topic on one of the upcoming episodes. But moving into the next topic, bragging about being a gangster versus actually being a gangster. Now I know a bunch of y'all who grew up in the hood, even if you haven't grew up in the hood and you grow up in the suburbs or High Point or Beverly Hills or in the Parliament, I don't know what your life situation is, but it's always going to have somebody that's boasting, bragging, and hyping themselves up way beyond not only expectations, but just they can't perform at the level that they talking about. So my first question is to Matt today, what are the consequences of bragging about being a gangster versus what's the consequences if you tell somebody you're going to do them something, or you telling somebody, rah, you all about this life, and then they come test you on that. They make you cash that check. What's some of those consequences?
All right, so the consequence, you have to be real with yourself from the get go, you know, before you even make that decision to even tell somebody that, because like you say, they might want to come cash that check. So you gotta know thyself. Then, if you choose to lie, then you gotta understand that you lying about something that's really ain't true, and that one day that check might be coming to you to be cashed. So you have to keep up with that lie. Therefore, putting yourself more and more into that environment of which you were never supposed to be in anywhere, because you aren't that.
Right.
All right. So, just a lot of bad things ahead. Like, I mean,
anything can happen.
You just take your pick.
Right. So, number 2, what's real and what's a myth? Because I don't know about you, but when I was coming up, I used to hear all types of stuff like, oh, he's gangster. Like, gangsters don't live long. That's one of the myths. Gangsters are people who sag their pants and, you know, help our audience, you know, differentiate between what's actually factual about being a gangster and what is basically a myth and a story that somebody else has concocted to fit what their perception of a gangster should be. What's the difference?
So like, well, I ain't gonna say easy example, but one example I could say is like Al Capone or you know, those type of people. They were gangsters, but not in a sense of like always violence or nothing like that.
Right.
You know, it's more of organized
crime.
Organized crime. You know, they were just doing something illegal. It doesn't mean that there was like it had to be like shifting pounds and stuff like that.
Right.
So I could just say that a gangster, a true gangster, is neither somebody that's in a drug gang, or someone that totes guns or shoots people. You know, nothing violent.
Right. Nothing that's not connected to violence.
Yeah, a gangster is not really a gangster. Ain't gonna be connected to nothing.
Right.
At all. And what I mean by that you ain't gonna even know that he's gangster.
Right.
Like a gangster is like if you ever watch one of them old kung fu movies, it's like the sensei master that everybody never seen before, but you know about him. His actions are gonna tell you who he is. You know what I'm saying? You gonna know him by his actions, but you will never know him. You will never know his real name. You'll never see him. And if you do see him, it's two things that's neither going on right now. Neither you in a position of promotion, and I don't not when I say promotion, I mean you in high favor at that moment. You're a friend, or you are about to be bestowed with some knowledge, or something that's personal gain for you, or you his enemy.
Right.
And which you don't want to be his enemy.
Right. Which leads me into number 3, because I heard you mention it throughout what you was talking about a bunch of times. Like you had said, you know, a gangster is not gonna be connected to anything. Like a gangster, you'll never even know he's gangster until you just reap the repercussions of messing with him or crossing his line. So number 3 is my question: if you are a gangster, if that is true, why in this new generation? Because what I find out in this new generation is not a lot of the times the case is not they not gangster, they not willing to do whatever. Because that's really my definition of being a gangster. It's not, it's being willing to do whatever to perform not only the objective that you have at hand, but to ultimately reach your end goal by any means necessary. Whoever you got to step on in the process, no matter if it's physical, mental, or monetary, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna do whatever.
You dedicated to
what your goal is.
Yeah.
And you don't give a damn what. That's a gangster to me. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that I don't find in the new age is not necessarily that they not willing to do what they need to do. Like they'll go all the way to the extreme. They'll kill a motherfucker for what they mean. But the thing to them that's more important than their objective these days is telling everybody they're a gangster, letting everybody know.
Yeah.
So why is it so important to let everybody know you're a gangster if you already know you're a gangster? Like if you're a gangster, why is it so important that everybody know these days? Like, flashing all this money and shit. You know what they doing? Instagram money phones and shit.
I think you really answered it in asking the question. Because, like you said, it's all about what you really want. Like the dedicated. See, you believe that a gangster is somebody that they're dedicated to what they want so much to it don't matter you my mama, it don't matter who you is. Like you gonna get ran over if you in my way.
Right.
So
straight up.
In that case, it's all about what they want. They don't really want what they personifying. They just want the attention. And that's not gangster.
Yeah. That's not gangster. Oh man, we're gonna catch y'all next time. This is DJ Evo, and this has been your boy Mac the Rilla on another episode of Off the Top. See y'all next time, man. Thank y'all for listening.
Within a nice little time frame.